Welcome to today's episode of the Mindset Mentor Podcast. I'm your host, Rob Dial. Today, we're going to be talking about laziness, and I'm going to be talking to you about why you might be so lazy. And I'm going to talk to you a different route about laziness. I'm not going to talk about sleep. I'm not going to talk about nutrition. I'm not going to talk about working out, any of that. I'm going to talk to you about why you don't have the energy to do the things that you want to do or to do the things that you feel like you need to do. And you don't have the energy because I think you're out of alignment with the purpose in your life. You are out of alignment with your purpose in your life, which means you're out of alignment with the universe, and you're living a life that's not in line with your soul's purpose. Now, come with me here. This is all going to make sense as we go through it. But you should do more of the things that give you energy, not things that take energy from you. And it's really important because the way that I always say, and no matter what you believe in, just go on this journey with me and see if it resonates in some sort of way. I believe that God or the universe or whatever it is that's out there communicates and comes through to us in energy. Because if you look at the entire universe, every single thing is made of energy. I am made of energy. This desk I'm sitting at is made of energy. This microphone that I'm sitting at and talking into is made of energy. It's just that when you see something like water or air, its energy is moving. The atoms in it are moving a lot quicker. When you look at something solid like this desk or this microphone, the atoms that are moving inside of it are still moving. They're still there. They're just moving at a much slower rate. And everything that holds it all together is energy. And so when we're looking at it, we say, okay, if everything in the universe is made of energy and I'm something that's inside of the universe, shouldn't I start paying more attention to my energy? And you should. If you come back at the end of the day and you're exhausted, not in a good exhausted, but a bad exhausted, and I'll tell you about the two of them, but if you're bad exhausted, it's not for you. Stop doing it. It's not what you're here to do. And so let me tell you the difference between the two of them. A good exhausted could be like, you find something that you love, you're doing it, and you are tired. You are exhausted, but your heart is full. You feel really fulfilled after doing that thing. It's like after a really good workout, like you're tired, but you feel really good about yourself and really good that you did it, right? A bad exhausted is you come home exhausted, you're tired, you're dragging, you don't want to do it again tomorrow. You feel like you spend 5 minutes at work or 5 minutes with some person and you're just like, man, this is exhausting. And that's really where you want to start to think about, like, where is my energy going, where I feel like I get energy, and where is my energy going where I feel like it's not coming back. It's hard. It's hard to do it. And really what I like to talk about is the intersection of your energy and your purpose, and understanding that the intersection of your energy and your purpose is your alignment in life. And when you are aligned in life, the natural byproduct of alignment and taking action in that alignment is fulfillment. And the natural byproduct of fulfillment is happiness. And so the universe and all of its incredible wisdom operates on the principle of alignment. Everything that you see in the entire universe, from the stars in the sky to the plants that you see to the cells inside of your body, functions optimally when it is in harmony with its purpose, when it's in harmony with what it's supposed to do. And if you look at the entire universe outside of humans, because we have minds to make us do something different, the entire universe is very harmonious. The entire world, if you look at the world, everything in the world is very harmonious. There's this harmony that's around. And you could see, like, for instance, a crazy thing, if you look like the harmony of plants, if you look at a tree, an apple tree, for instance, right? Like an apple tree will have apples, and the apples are green. So if it's like red apples, right? And the apples are green before they're actually ready to be eaten, before they're ready for you to be able to eat the seed. Think about this for a second. So the plant, when it's ready, there's a membrane that's on the outside of a seed. And until that membrane is gone and able to be digested and then put into the earth, the apple is going to be green. When the seed itself, the membrane is gone, the apple will start to turn red, which means it is fresh, and then it will be sweet. And it turns red so that it catches the eye of other animals, it catches the eye of us. Those animals eat it. We eat it. We have the seed that's inside of us, and then that seed is supposed to be pooped into another place, which means that the seed is being planted into the ground in a different location outside of the location of the seed and the apple tree where it comes from, so that you can then go ahead and whatever animal has it, poops it into the ground. Like, that is harmony. Another thing that's harmony is we breathe in oxygen, we breathe out carbon dioxide. Trees breathe in carbon dioxide and they breathe out oxygen for us. Everything is harmony, and everything has energy behind it. And everything in the universe is made of energy. The energy is the most important thing in the universe, and you are part of this thing. And so similarly, when you look at it, our energy levels are directly influenced by how much harmony we have in our life and how aligned we are to what we feel our life's mission is. And if you don't know what your life's mission is, that's fine. That's completely fine at this moment. But as I've said hundreds of times on this podcast, if you don't know what your purpose is, that's fine right now. But it is not okay to not be in constant pursuit to find that purpose every single day. When we're in sync with our purpose, our actions feel more effortless. They feel like we get energy from doing them, and we feel invigorated by the tasks that we have to undertake. And I had heard a quote, somebody saying this one time, but if the entire universe is made of energy, and we are a part of that thing, if we're doing something that's out of alignment with our purpose, we have to provide that energy. Our bodies have to provide that energy. But when we're doing something that is in alignment with our purpose, the universe will provide energy for you. And so, like for me, I know that one of the things that for me, when I was writing my book, I started getting kind of stressed out because I was like, man, this is a lot. This is a big undertaking. Like, writing a book is not like a weekend type thing. It's not a month thing. It is a years process, 3 years for me to write the book. And one thing that I started noticing when I was starting to get down and start writing was I started getting a little bit stressed out thinking about this long process that I was in. And I told myself, does this feel aligned with what you're supposed to be doing? It does. Okay, then this will be easy and it will be effortless. It will be easy and it will be effortless. And this affirmation I kept telling myself, it will be easy and it will be effortless. This book will flow through me. It's not from me, it's coming through me. And I must just stay aligned and not get in the way. Because all too often, my thinking is what will get me in the way, right? So I must stay aligned. Does this feel aligned? It does. Okay, I need to get out of the way and I need to just let it come through me. And that's really what it comes down to. On the other side of not being in alignment, when you have misalignment, it drains you, leaving you feel like you're perpetually tired, unmotivated. I don't know what I want to do. I don't want to wake up and go to work anymore. Like, I had that before I started doing what I'm doing now. And I felt tired all the time. I started to feel depressed because I was just, I was young and I was making great money, but I was like, I don't want to fast forward 20 years and this is still my life. I started feeling a little bit of like depression kick in. Like, I can't continue doing this anymore. I'm not going to be happy following this route. Me now, with what I'm doing now, when I get done with the podcast, I have more energy after the podcast than I did starting the podcast, because I feel like this is the thing that gives me energy. And what I tell everybody is, if you don't know what it is that you're doing and you don't know what it is that you want to be doing, start asking yourself, where do I get energy? What gives me energy? Because that's like little tiny clues. It's not like the universe comes through and just yells at you, but it's like, you need to listen to the whispers, try to search for the energy. Because when you're aligned, it's easy, it's effortless. When you're not aligned, it's like swimming against like a really powerful current. No matter how hard you try, you're barely moving and you feel exhausted and you feel demoralized. And it's just, you're putting so much effort. And I remember years ago, I felt like I was working so hard. I was working 110 hours a week, and it was the feeling that I've heard from so many people, which is, I feel like my wheels are just spinning, like I'm just stuck in mud and nothing's working. Well, there might be an opportunity for you to see if you're out of alignment in some sort of way. If you consistently feel drained, it's a sign that you're probably out of alignment with your purpose here. So what is your purpose here? My purpose is different than yours, and yours is different than every single other person that's listening. But it's the universe's way, and I say the universe, it could be God to you, it could be whatever you believe in. It's the universe's way of nudging you towards becoming more introspective and just being like, what is it that I want? What is it that I desire? What is it that I'm trying to create? And trying to get realigned with what is it you really want to do. And what you have to find in your lifetime is, what do you love? What do you love to do? What gives you energy? What's fun? What's effortless? What's something that you're just so excited about? And so really you have to go on a quest for this purpose and embrace the exploration. You're like a pilgrim. You're just going off into the middle of nowhere and you're trying to find this thing. And it's not always, I wish it were straightforward. It's not always straightforward. Like some of you listening to this podcast, you have a pretty good idea of what your purpose is. Hey, if you're loving this episode, please do me a favor. Give us a like down below for the YouTube algorithm. And if you don't want to miss another episode, hit that subscribe button as well so that you never miss another episode of this podcast. But more often than not, most people, for us, it requires us stepping out of our comfort zone, embracing the unknown, doing things we've never done before. So if you're unsure about your passion, doing the same things over and over again repeatedly, the same shit, different toilet. It's my very first girlfriend's dad used to always say, same shit, different toilet, right? And so it's like, if you feel like every day is that, then you're not going to discover it because you're not doing something new, because you have to do something new to try to find it. So doing the same things over and over again won't bring you more clarity. It's not going to help you out. And so what you have to do is you have to experiment. You have to find new things. You have to take new routes. You have to talk to new people. You have to try new hobbies. You have to cook new food, eat new food, travel to different places. And you have to try to find new experiences, whether it's taking a hobby and just I'm going to try some tennis. I'm going to try horseback riding. I'm going to try go-kart driving, like whatever. Try everything you can. Have as many new experiences as you possibly can. It could be traveling to a place you've never gone before, but you feel that you should go there for some reason. It could be learning a new skill. It could be deepening a skill. Maybe you played guitar when you were younger and you really love it and you want to go back to it. It could be learning a new skill. And when I say purpose, just so you know, purpose doesn't always mean paycheck, which holds a lot of people back. People think that in order for me to find my purpose, I want to start playing guitar, but does that mean I have to become a musician and try to make, my living off of guitar? No, not necessarily. But, maybe you start playing guitar, you start getting really good at it. You have a job that you enjoy, but you're not in love with. But then at the end, on the weekends, you teach children how to play guitar, and that makes you feel like it's your purpose. And so that's really what it comes down to, is exposing yourself to different experiences, to new experiences, and try to find something that like truly resonates with your soul. And so there's a couple of recommendations I have for you of really how to figure this out and how to find it. The first thing is what I just call creating a happiness blueprint. And I had a friend who, I've told this story a couple of times, but he worked for Facebook. He was one of the very first employees at Facebook. He was like number 13, number 18, something like that. And he was fired from Facebook a few months before they went public. And when they went public, if he would have kept his stock, because they took his stock when they fired him, he would have made like $180 million overnight. And he started to become really depressed because he was fired, number one, and that was like what he was just so excited about, and he loved working there and stuff, and he got fired from it. And then what happened was they went public. He realized how much money he lost out on, and then he started going to depression. And one thing they said to me that I don't think I'll forget the rest of my life is the thing that got him out of depression is he asked himself the question, what makes me happy? And he wrote it down, every single thing that makes him happy, whether it was starting a new business, whether it was playing with puppies, ice cream, sunrises. He wrote down everything. And then what he did was he would take all of those things, that list, that giant list that he had made, and he would look at it every single morning and say, how can I put as many of these things into my day today to try to bring myself more happiness? And the quote that he said that I'll never forget is he said, I will not let my happiness or depression be left up to chance. I'm going to be in control of that. And so what you want to do with the happiness blueprint is to create a list of activities that bring you joy. It's actually a happy list that serves as your compass, guiding you towards experiences that might align a little bit more with that true inner self. And remember that you want to prioritize your happiness. This isn't like a luxury. It's really a necessity if you're trying to live a fulfilling life. It's not a luxury to be happy and to do something that you love and to have activities that you love. It's a necessity for living a life that's really fulfilling. Doing things that make you happy is like playing a video game and you get to hit like the power up button in the video game. So that's the first thing, is to make a happiness list and the blueprint for yourself. And you might just, like I said, lack energy or not have the energy or the motivation simply because you lack your purpose. So you have to figure out what's happy is you doing what makes you happy over and over and over again. You start to see and try new experience and go, oh, well, I didn't really like that. No big deal. I'm going to throw that one to the curb. Oh, I really did like that. I'm going to add that to my happiness list. From your happiness list, you start to find out a little bit more about what your purpose is. And it makes it easier to take action when you know what your true purpose is. The next thing that you want to do is to do something called Ikigai. And I've spoken about this in the podcast before. It's in my book as well. And ikigai is a Japanese phrase that stands for, in Japanese translated over to English, is reason for being, like your reason for being alive. And it composed basically of 4 questions. And what you want to do is you want to take a pen and paper and you want to put each question at the top of the page, flip the page, put another question, flip the page, the other question, flip the other page. And you ask yourself these 4 questions. Number 1 is, what do I love? And you write that down, and then you just write down every single thing that you love. Once again, it could be puppies, it could be sunrises, it could be working out, it could be traveling. Write down every single thing that you love. It could be really big, it could be really small, it could be your children, it could be, mowing the grass. I don't know what it is, but find out, what is it that you love? Next question you ask yourself is, what are you good at? And you find stuff that you're good at. Something that you have a little bit of a skill set that maybe you've developed over time, something that you could become better at in there as well. Next question is, what can you be paid for? And then the next question is, what does the world need? And the idea of it is, if you could find the intersection of what you love to do, what you're good at, what can you be paid for, and what the world needs, you're really probably going to figure out what your passion is in life, what your purpose is in life. And then another question that I always add to ikigai is, what are you really interested in learning more about, or trying to do more of, or trying for the first time? So what are you really interested in? What do you want to learn more about? Like for me, most people don't want to sit down and read cognitive behavioral therapy books, but I do, because it's really interesting to me. Most people don't want to sit down and learn more about neurology and psychology and early childhood development, but I do, just because those things give me energy. They're so intriguing to me. Humans are so damn intriguing to me. And so those things I'm really interested in, and I always want to get better at. And I would read all of those things if I didn't have a podcast, if I didn't coach people, if I didn't coach business owners, any of that. I would still be really interested in it. And so once again, the questions are, what do you love? What are you good at? What can be paid for? And what does the world need? That's the 4 questions for ikigai. And my extra question is, what are you really interested in learning more about, or trying to do more? Because here's what's really interesting is, when you're doing something that you love, you have the energy. Time just seems to fly. You don't have to come up with energy. Like one of the things I love doing, I used to hate doing because I was really self-conscious more than anything else, and I didn't have the skill set to it, was I love public speaking. Like I love sitting here and speaking on a microphone, but it's me in a room by myself speaking to my microphone and a camera for those that are watching on YouTube. But when I get in front of people, it's another level of energy. And we did an event a few weeks ago, and it was all day event over multiple days. And people were like, man, you must be exhausted. And at the end of the day, I was like, I have so much energy, and it doesn't make any sense because I shouldn't have energy. I've been working so hard the past few days. I've been putting every ounce of energy into the event, but for some reason I have so much energy at the end. Why? Because I feel like for me, that's just my life purpose. And this is why time flies when you're having fun, but time seems to go really slow when you're doing something that you hate and you're dragging your feet and you don't have any energy. If you feel like you don't have energy, if you feel like you're spinning your wheels, if you feel like you're not going anywhere, if you feel like you're trying to swim upstream, it's basically like the universe saying, hey, dude, this isn't for you. It's the universe speaking to you. Are you listening? It's why you can see people, and one of the things I love about Facebook and now being 37 years old is I can see people who I grew up with, and sometimes I see someone, I'm like, man, they're 37 because they graduated with me, but they look like they're 30 years old. And then there's some people that I see and they look like they're 50 years old. And it's sure, there's how they take care of themselves. There's, all of that stuff, working out, diet, alcohol, how much they drink, all of that is in there as well. But I tend to find the people who are doing something that they love seem to have a very youthful appearance to them, a youthful feeling. Their energy is just different than someone who's not doing something that you love. And really what it comes down to is, if you're doing something that you hate, something that's sucking the soul out of you, it is exhausting. I've been there. I know what it feels like. I was 29 years old and I was like, I cannot do this anymore because I don't know what I'm going to look like in 20 years, but this can't be the path. And so really what I want you to start to think about is, if you're lazy, if you feel unmotivated, just ask yourself, is this my purpose in life? Do I feel like there might be something else? If there is, start to be curious. You don't have to solve any problems. You don't have to have a purpose that solves the world hunger or any of that type of stuff. what you just really have to do is just to find what feels right to you. Find the stuff that gives you energy. And the key of all of this is energy, because the universe speaks in energy. It comes through in energy, talks to you in that way. And if you can just have your spidey sense up a little bit more of like, does this make me happy? Does this feel fulfilling? Do I feel energetic? Do I get excited thinking about going and doing this? Do I feel more excited after doing? Do I feel like I have more energy after it? Those are the things that you're really searching for. So one of the reasons why, probably the key reason why you might not be motivated and you might be lazy is because you just might be out of alignment with what your true purpose is. So that's what I got for you for today's episode. If you love this episode, please do me a favor, share it on your Instagram stories and tag me at Rob Dial Jr., ROBDIALJR. There's an entire chapter in my book about your purpose. So if you do want to read my book to get a little bit more of an idea of how to discover your purpose, there's an entire chapter out of 12 chapters that I have inside the book that is just on purpose and discovering your purpose and following it. You can buy my book. It is called Level Up: How to Get Focused, Stop Procrastinating, and Upgrade Your Life. If you want to go ahead and pre-order, it comes out on October 3rd is when it comes out. You can go to robdial.com/book. You can pre-order it. If you are listening to this before October 3rd, everyone who pre-orders it will be entered into a drawing for a pool of cash and prizes of over $25,000 in cash and prizes. And every single person who pre-orders it will automatically get a free mini course on how to stop procrastinating. It is called the Get Off Your Ass Masterclass. And you can get that as well at robdial.com/book after you order it. With that, I'm going to leave you the same way I leave you every single episode. Make it your mission to make somebody else's day better. I appreciate you, and I hope that you have an amazing day.